Fios is not cable. We're wired differently, which means you can get the fastest internet available with equal upload and download speeds from 50 to 500 megs. So you can upload 200 photos before your favorite song is finished. Click the ad and switch to Fios today to get our best offer ever.
In spite of our mechanical magnificence,
up in the sky, look! It's a bird! It's a plane!
Todd Vandenberg.
There with him under the hat.
Guess who's coming to dinner?
And Rob Steele.
Pay no attention to that man behind the curtain!
As you can imagine, they don't let us out much.
All my filters in alphabetical order. This, for example, was under H for toy.
Movie reviews.
So you're here to save the world.
Movie news.
Dad! Tom Cruise won't come out of the closet.
And the occasional rumor or TV news.
I object to all this sex on the television. I keep falling off.
Oh, that's not right.
God, I love my work.
And to make a long story short,
Too late.
One by one you all arrived.
Oh, look, it's the old intro to the show that doesn't have the poultry guys thing. We're back anyway. Hi, Todd. How are you doing?
Hi, Rob. That's sad.
There was a bit of a stutter in the middle of that, wasn't there?
There was a bit of a stutter, a bit of a shudder, which would be perfect because we're approaching Halloween.
Ooh, Shutter season.
Shutter season, Shutter Island.
Close the shutters. We have no candy. Leave me alone. Oh, I'm sorry. No, that's... Welcome to Cinema Savants. We're going to talk movies in a minute. We really will.
Wait, are we talking Halloween candy first?
Halloween candy, sure. Apparently we have to get Butterfingers, otherwise our house will be toilet papered.
No.
There's a commercial.
Those Orange Circus peanuts. Orange Circus peanuts, and you leave them outside for a week, and then you give them away.
I thought they would dissolve.
Well, they'd be covered with ants.
Whatever you're holding them in.
Yeah, that works.
I've got enough ants as it is. Although, I do have a family of lizards that live outside my house. And I feel really bad about this because the other day I got in the car and I drove to my daughter to her doctor's appointment. And on the way back, one of the lizards crawled out from under the hood.
Nice.
And was clinging for dear life to the hood of the car as I get on I-20. And I'm like, oh, I feel bad now because there's no way. And sure enough, I get up to 50 and the lizard just goes, wah!
Yeah.
And I felt so bad about it.
I would feel bad
too. I really
did.
did.
I've had that happen, except I didn't get to the interstate, and I saw him when I was still in my subdivision and stopped and chased him off, and then I went on my way. So, yeah, but he had a good ride. He had a good ride for his last outing, so there you go.
He did. I mean, made it to the doctor's office with no problem. It was on the way home.
Idiot. Should have stayed there.
Should have stayed where he was, and I would never have known. I mean, I don't like killing lizards unless it's in, a V miniseries.
Yeah, in which case they deserve it.
I'm trying to bring it back around to TV and movie stuff.
37 minutes in, and we may talk about movies.
Something like that. How about them Mets? No. Okay, so movie news. Did you get to see anything this week?
I did. I saw The Girl on the Train. I saw Shin Godzilla. And I managed to catch Birth of a Nation actually early this afternoon.
Ooh.
And I will talk about all three of those.
You got more recent movies than I've gotten.
And what did you catch this week, sir? Other than bronchitis.
Yeah, that would explain why I haven't been anywhere and why my voice is a little bit deeper than it normally used to be. While sitting on the couch, I got to see a movie that, I'll be honest, I've been making fun of it since we restarted the show because I was sick and I had a free pay-per-view coupon. I watched X-Men Alpacalypse.
I can't wait for this.
And, oh boy. And earlier today, Independence Day Resurgence, or ID42, which is kind of a weird way of phrasing it.
Yeah.
That's 5 movies we can talk about. Which one do you want to start with?
Let's start with Apocalypse, because you've been dying to talk about that movie. Actually, you've been talking about that movie, so now you can.
It's exactly what I said it was. It's a fairly decent movie that should not have the words X-Men associated with it.
Right, I agree.
Some of the characters are loosely based on the characters from the books. There's a couple little things where you go, oh, it looks like they might have read the books. No, they didn't. Never mind. It was a feint. It was a fake handoff, and they went for the long pass, and they dropped it. It wasn't a bad movie. I have nothing against any of the actors in it. I have a problem with things like Havoc now all of a sudden is Cyclops' older brother. Which is a bit odd. His power blasts, to my knowledge, have never come out of his chest, but they do in the movie. Okay, fine. This is not really a spoiler, but Havoc ends up dying in this movie. And the reason I say it's not a spoiler, I think everyone by now has seen the new Quicksilver scene where he runs around and saves everyone from the mansion exploded? Sylvania Pizzoni again? One of those things. And the mansion explodes because Havoc screwed up. Okay, fine. My problem with the Quicksilver scene is very well done, except
it is.
From a physics point of view, it doesn't make any sense. And from the Marvel Universe Encyclopedia, Quicksilver is not that fast. I think he's the fastest character in the Marvel Universe, but not the speed that he's going in this movie or certainly in the previous one, Days of Future. I should have read the book first.
Which is true. He was never remotely close to that other comics universe speedsters. He was incredibly fast, but nothing like the Flash or Superman for that matter.
He could run as fast as a bullet, but I'm going to redirect this entire room full of bullets. No, you're not.
Right.
It doesn't work that way. Nor can you stop in the middle of your fast forward scene and drink a tab, which I thought was a nifty thing to throw in the movie, because it took place in the 80s, and I don't think they've made tabs since.
Yeah, that was one of the most fun parts of the film for me. And it makes no sense, but it is funny. To me, part of the problems is that they've boxed themselves into so many corners from their previous film universe that they've pretty much wrecked any continuity they've had. Not even pay attention to the comic books. I mean, things are screwed up from where they started with the X-Men film. They've really turned it into a train wreck if you want to actually make things work. If you just want to sit back and enjoy it, it's not a bad. I agree. It's not a bad film. It's not the X-Men if you follow the comics, but it's not a bad film. Just like you said about the latest Fantastic Four flick, not a bad movie, unless you've ever read the Fantastic Four comics. In which case, what the hell is this? So.
To me, I don't see the point in making a movie that completely redoes the book that made it popular enough to become a movie in the first place. Did I say that right?
Exactly. Exactly. Well, I mean, that's how I feel about the film World War Z, which, just taken as itself, it's a pretty good zombie movie. And I think Brad Pitt was terrific in it. I think he put as much effort into that as if he was making, a serious Oscar-worthy film. But it's got, what, 1% to do with the book. That is a property that really should have been a series on HBO or Netflix or AMC or whatever. And now they're doing World War Z 2, and it's going to be the same thing. It'll have nothing to do with the book, which is, as we've talked about on every show, Hollywood is great at taking a property and taking the title because that's the link that people will recognize and then doing whatever the hell they want with it. So, yeah, I agree with you on Apocalypse. It was okay, but it's not really an X-Men film.
Now, I do have a couple other, two other really quick Marvel bits. One from the third Wolverine movie, which, oh boy. They're introducing the character X-23, and if you follow Actually, it's not even a comic book, because X-23 was created in the X-Men Evolution Saturday morning animated series, which actually was if you're going to reboot it the way they did it in that, because that was actually a pretty good job.
Mm-hmm.
X-23 is a female clone of Wolverine, who for some reason has a claw in her foot. Okay, whatever.
She's a raptor.
But they put her in the comic book, and she became popular, kind of like Harley Quinn, because she was created in the Batman animated series and then moved over to the comic book. Right. X-23, kind of the same thing, only she's always been at least a teenager. In this movie, she's supposed to be played by, and I'm going to mispronounce the name, Sienna Novikov. I could be right. I don't know. I've never seen her before because I looked this up. Age 8.
Oh, great.
What the hell? 8-year-old Wolverine. No. I can't.
Oh, no. 8-year-old Wolverine? Come on now. That's awesome. 8-year-old Wolverine? Because hopefully it'll follow her for a couple of years, and then she'll get to that point where all of a sudden she thinks she's 30 and she's a horrible brat. That would be terrific. I want to see that. God. So
that's already I'm not liking the next Wolverine movie. And let's see, Marvel chief Kevin Feige? Feige?
Yeah, whatever.
Kevin. There was a rumor started that there may be a Blade versus Underworld movie. Now, I thought, that could be kind of cool, except he says it's never going to happen. Because there's too many rights involved and so on and so forth, so get over it. Oh, well. So much for that.
Well, we also heard there was never going to be Spider-Man in the Marvel film universe, and that changed. So I wouldn't be surprised to see that change a few down the road.
And actually, just because it's the only other comic book news I have this week, which is kind of weird because I've been having a ton of it of late, the direct-to-DVD Justice League Dark, which actually looks really good, is getting an R rating.
Wow, interesting.
So, yeah, I don't know if you've seen any of the... Marvel does a really good job. Marvel Studios does the Avengers, Iron Man movies, etc. Do a really good job there. DC does a really good job of their animated direct-to-DVD movies.
Oh, they do. They're terrific. Flashpoint Paradox is terrific.
It is. And that really weirdly followed the storyline of the... God, how many comics were in that series? 5,000 or something? Because it crossed every comic for like a year. And they still managed to condense it down to a 2-hour movie, and it still worked.
Right.
Justice League Dark, I've seen a couple previews of it. It looks really good. And for those of you who liked the TV show Constantine, the character is going to be in Justice League Dark, played by the same guy whose name has completely escaped me at the moment.
Excellent. And it's not Keanu Reeves, because you're talking about the guy who played him in TV.
Right.
While you're looking for that, I will expound a bit on the DC animated universe. And you're dead right. I mean, those movies from
Matt Ryan,
the Batman series, the animated, the football player, excellent.
There we go.
Justice League and Justice League Unlimited, man, and the direct-to-DVD. I went. And, they're doing limited releases of a lot of these films now. They'll play just 1 or 2 times. I went to see The Killing Joke at the theater when it came out. And, of course, it was on DVD the next day, but I didn't care. I wanted to see it at the theater. It was pretty good. It's not my favorite. So you've seen The Killing Joke as in the film version. Okay. And what did you think of it?
I thought it was interesting. I actually don't think it's the best of them, but considering the storyline and everything,
right,
and how the storyline, if they followed the book directly, it wouldn't have made a full movie.
Exactly.
So they added some stuff into it, which I didn't mind, but at the same time, it didn't do much for me.
Yeah, I thought it worked.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely. I thought it worked, but it wasn't compelling like most of their movies are. And and it's a downbeat storyline, obviously, and it has the weird ending, which I'm glad they kept the ending. They shouldn't change that ending. It's a weird ending in the book. It's a weird ending in the movie, but that's the book. So you got to change.
For me, it made more sense to see it in the movie than it did to read it in the book. Because in the movie, I was kind of going, "Oh, that's what they meant." But yeah, either way, it was still a very weird ending.
It is probably the DC direct to DVD or whatever, how you want to think of it. It's probably the last one I would recommend, and I still recommend it because most of them are so. Like we talked about Flashpoint Paradox, which is. Oh, my God. There's your Justice League movie, you idiots. Just frickin' do that in live action. I mean, and they've done so many. Do the New Frontier in live action. Geez. My kids are in their 20s, and we talk about this kind of stuff all the time. And, when they have these shortfalls in the DC films, it's like, oh, my God, you guys have dozens of scripts. Just look at the animated films and just stitch a couple of them together, or the episodes, and you're done. I mean, they're perfect. I don't understand how they can continue to punt this the way they do, but hopefully they will turn it around, because I do have high hopes for the Justice League film. I'm not talking about Justice League Dark. I mean, that I know will be good because they're all good. But for the live action DC universe, I'm hoping they'll be good. I'm hoping they get back to what they used to be with the original Superman series and Nolan's Batman series and the first couple of Batman films with Michael Keaton. Back when the movies were worthwhile instead of
Yeah. So the movies you saw this week, since you outnumber mine.
Yes, the movies I saw this week.
The best of the movies you saw.
I saw my favorite of the movies I saw. Okay, I have to say it's by far the least serious film, which of course was Shin Godzilla, and I wasn't even really going to talk about it because it's such a limited screening. But they have added, or at least there is this coming Tuesday at most theaters that have been showing it. There's like 400 some theaters around the country that are showing it. So check your listings. Shin Godzilla, SHIN Godzilla. And it will probably be at 7 or 7:30 because that's pretty much when they've been showing it. I thought it was really, really good. Lots of monster action. I'm kind of puzzled at some of the reviews I'd read that said there's too much talking, not enough monsters. It's like Godzilla's in this movie more than he was in the original 1954 version. So I don't know what the hell they're watching. He's done really well. There are some changes to Godzilla, which are unexpected, which are great. I like the fact that it's a political satire at the same time. I mean, not to the extent of Dr. Strangelove. Kind of borders on that just a little bit, just the pokes at the bureaucracy in Japan. Apparently, Japan, you need to have 17 meetings before you can write a ticket. Basically, I mean, the way they portray it, all the bureaucratic bullshit they have to go through to get anything done with this gigantic disaster. And they poke some fun at the United States, how we like to unilaterally say, we're going to help you, and this is how we're going to help you. And we don't give a shit how you like it. We're doing it this way. So there's a little bit of that. Godzilla himself or herself, whichever, is really, really very neat. There's a couple new abilities that have not been in any previous Godzilla thing that I've ever seen. Really fun movie. I mean, this is what monster movies are supposed. It's not a horror movie. It's a monster movie. This is what monster movies are supposed to be. Yes, it is in Japanese. Yes, you have to read the English subtitles. Get over it. Go watch it. It's really, really good. It's a lot of fun. And actually did pretty well at the box office.
Really? That sounds like something that needs to be seen.
Well, I mean, it's done just under $1 million, but you've got to remember it's played for a week, and it hasn't played for 7 days at any of the theaters who've shown it. It's about 4 or 5 days, and they've had one screening. So per theater, it's actually done pretty well. They made it into kind of an event, and I think that's cool. I mean, more and more we're seeing films coming out. Like I was thinking of going to see it again Tuesday night, except for the fact that Young Frankenstein is playing at 7 o'clock this Tuesday. I'm going to go see Young Frankenstein. Taxi Driver is playing tonight. and I believe it's Wednesday at a lot of theaters around the country. And more we're getting these special event films, which I think is terrific because, we talk about remakes. Why did they remake this movie? Oh, my God. Why don't they show well, they're doing it. They're showing the originals. So, yes, you have a chance to see Young Frankenstein. There's no way to remake that and make it better. There's no way to remake Taxi Driver and make it better. You got a chance to go see them. Go see these movies.
You mentioned remaking movies. And I found news on I don't understand the purpose in remaking Heathers. I don't know if you've heard about this or not.
No, I haven't. That makes me sad. I have a bitter taste in my mouth now.
Going to be really weird. Apparently, two actors, James Scully and Grace Victoria Cox, are the new JD and Veronica. Not that I have a clue as to who either of them are. Originally played by Christian Slater and Winona Ryder, who were huge at the time. But the thing that I'm not understanding about the new Heathers is it's supposed to be a single camera movie. So I'm wondering if that means it's going to be like, the Blair Heather Witch Project? Or,
I hope not.
I don't know how that would work.
I don't know.
The entire movie through Veronica's eyes. Why do that?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, in a way, Heathers is the kind of thing that you should remake, except it's such a cult classic. I mean, to me, you remake a film that didn't quite work but had a great concept, something along those lines, or something that really hasn't been seen. Like I've always felt Curse of the Demon, which, and not the 70s flick, the 50s flick. It's called Night of the Demon in Great Britain, and it's about a guy who debunks charlatans basically, and he's investigating this devil cult, and it turns out it's real, and that's where it flows from there. And it's such a great movie, such a cool atmospheric movie. That's the movie you remake, one that hardly anyone's seen or heard of. You don't remake something like Heathers. You don't remake Casablanca, for God's sakes, which,
I heard
they've
done.
done.
That too.
Oh, they've already done that, and I'm sure they'll do it again.
Oh, they did?
You don't do that. That's ridiculous. You take a property that didn't quite make it, or, like when they remade The Thing, which they did a prequel to it, and that worked pretty well. But again, that's a cult classic, and that just doesn't work. I mean, The Thing itself, John Carpenter's The Thing, is a remake of The Thing from Another World, which was in the 50s, and it works much better than that film to me because it went back to the source material, to the original short story. That makes it work much better because it's not about...
That would require people in Hollywood read the book first, though.
Yeah, right, exactly. Well, apparently John Carpenter bothers, which it would not be a bad idea to do a special segment on John Carpenter at some point, because talk about a guy who's undersung. The movies he's come out with, and they're all basically cult classics, unfortunately for him. I mean, They all made money. And the guy's never going to need work, and he'd be crying that he can't get work. But, man, when you talk about genre films, it's like, what isn't he responsible for? The Thing, Big Trouble in Little China, Halloween. I mean, and that's just three off the top of my head, and it goes on and on and on. So, dude has deserved his reputation. I'm sorry, what?
I liked Big Trouble in Little China.
Oh, I love it. My wife and I went to see it, opening weekend. No lie, there were 6 people in the theater. Friday night. That thing bombed. It tanked. And it is one of my favorite movies because it's so out there and so bizarre. I mean, Kurt Russell with lipstick. Come on now. Can't beat that. Cannot beat that.
Another one of those cult classic type things. They're supposed to be remaking Clue, which is never going to work, but there's talking about making it into doing a stage adaptation and putting it on Broadway.
No, I'm fine with that. Rocky Horror Picture Show is going to be on Fox on I think the 20th. It's coming this week at any rate.
Yes.
And I'm not a fan of the movie, but they're doing like the live version of it. That's cool. I get that. That works. I don't know if it personally would work for me, but that's a different take on it. That's a different spin. I understand that. When they remade Psycho, gosh, it was probably 15 years ago that he remade Psycho, but they did it shot for shot. I don't understand the point of doing it shot for shot. I don't understand remaking Psycho to begin with, but why?
Yeah, if you're doing something shot for shot, why not just watch the original, because they've already done it?
Yeah, that's an expensive experiment to see if people like Vince Vaughn better than they like Tony Perkins, doing exactly the same line and the same reading. I don't get that. That concept is kind of weird, and that's just me. But it doesn't work. I'm sorry.
Could it be an experiment to see if people will get the video versions of both of them and mix in I prefer Anthony Perkins and the girl from the new one, so I'm going to take the scenes with Anthony Perkins and then cut the new girl in, and all the lines will still work.
And you could. Yeah, Psycho is one of those films that needs to be watched. This is the time of year to watch those kinds of movies, and Psycho is definitely on that list that needs to be watched. Other movies I saw this week, I guess I should get back to that. The Girl on the Train, I thought was really, really good. Emily Blunt, she is absolutely going to get nominated for an Oscar for this. She plays a damaged, frightened, wounded character incredibly well. She's great in this movie. And it's just of a woman who thinks she's seen something happen in a house as she passes by on a train. She, of course, is the girl on the train. So it's this mystery, and it's very strong female leads, which is nice for a change because typically there are no roles for women in Hollywood, seems like. And in this case, 3 strong roles. Haley Bennett, who, if you see Jennifer Lawrence in a movie, and then you find out later, oh my God, that wasn't Jennifer Lawrence, it's Haley Bennett. She could play her twin almost. It's weird how much she looks like Jennifer Lawrence, but really good actress. She's also in The Magnificent Seven, another remake. And Rebecca Ferguson rounds out the cast of the 3 strong female leads. But it's really, really interesting, the interplay between these female characters. And it's not a spoiler that Emily Blunt plays a character who's an alcoholic, and she's not recovering. So her word is doubted considerably. And it takes a lot of twists and turns, and it's got pretty middling reviews, but I thought it was terrific. I really, really liked it. And then I saw
similar to like Hitchcock's Rear Window. Was it Rear Window?
Yeah.
Where the guy's looking out the window.
Where he sees, where in that case is Jimmy Stewart. He sees this happen and no one believes him.
Right.
Which is really a great movie. Birth of a Nation, saw that today. Of course, that's about Nat Turner's The Rebellion in Virginia in the 1830s. Really good, and of course it's going to draw comparisons to 12 Years a Slave, so I'm going to throw it out there. 12 Years a Slave is a better film. I just think it's just a more gripping story. The characters are more completely drawn. But Nate Parker plays Nat Turner. He's the director, writer. He is terrific in this movie. Armie Hammer, who I have zero use for, is actually good. So that alone is a revelation. So that was pretty good. Definitely go see Birth of a Nation. You know what? One thing that made me sad. I mean, this was a 12:50 showing on a Sunday. Not exactly crowded theater time, right?
Right.
I was the only person there who is not of the African American persuasion. And it makes me sad and of course that's one sample, so that's really hard to say, only black people are going to see this film. But I have a feeling basically only African Americans are going to see this film for the most part, and that's really sad because this is a story that needs to be seen. Like I said, I don't think it's as good as 12 Years a Slave. It's shouldn't win an Oscar. Under the New Things, maybe it'll get nominated. I don't really care about that either. It's worth seeing. Nat Turner's character is very well portrayed. You really see a lot. It's much more about how he got to the point of thinking, okay, I'm done. We need to do something. But then the rebellion itself. The rebellion itself probably is 10 minutes in the movie. So it's and which I think is good, because otherwise it would be an action war movie, and it's like we have enough of that shit. We don't need that. So definitely worth seeing. Definitely a good film. And those are the three movies I've seen.
I've seen some stuff on Birth of a Nation. It looks like a really good film.
It is.
I'm honestly not sure if it's playing near me, which is weird.
Yeah,
it should be.
Well, yeah, it should be, but it's not really carrying up the box office by any means. It doesn't have to. I'll jump into that. It's 10th this weekend at the box office, which it's a period drama. Okay, I get it. It's not going to be a blockbuster film. So far, it's been out for 2 weeks. It's made $12 million. That's sad. A lot more people should be seeing it, but it cost $8.5.
So they made their money.
Well, the studio also paid, I think, $16 million just for the rights to it, so it hasn't made the money yet. But once it gets to overseas and DVD and blah blah, it'll make its money, and that is important that it makes its money, because stories like this have to be told, and if they don't make money, they're not going to get told. So it doesn't have to make $300 million. It just needs to be. The studio just doesn't need to lose money, because otherwise, the next time this chance comes up, they'll say, not going there. So, yeah, definitely. Of those three movies, like I said, Shin Godzilla was the most fun I had. But come on, it's a monster movie. You don't go to see a movie about a slave rebellion to have fun. So, definitely go see Birth of a Nation. That is the movie I would ask people to see.
Right. You want to go ahead and do the rest of the box office while we're there?
If you like, go ahead.
Yeah, let's go ahead and do that. Number 10, Birth of a Nation. We did that already.
We did.
Number 9, hey look, Sully is still around, making $2.9 million. Number 8, I'm afraid I haven't even heard of this movie. Or have I? Middle school, the worst years of my life.
Yeah, the ads look cute, actually. It looks like a decent movie to take the kids to.
Yeah, but I'm not in the demographic.
True.
None of my kids are in middle school. I have elementary and high school. None of them are in middle school. I can skip this movie. Ha ha. Number 7, appropriately, the magnificent number 7.
Exactly.
Number 6, Storks, which looks like it should have started with a D. It doesn't. That didn't look like a good one to me. But what do I know? Number 5, Deepwater Horizon, which that's the oil rig blows up, right?
That's the oil rig blows up.
You know how much I'm paying attention to the top movies at the moment. Number 4, Miss Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children. I'm told I'm not allowed to go see that one, because my daughter says they screwed it up in the trailer, so there. Number 3, look, there's a girl on a train with a dragon tattoo and stuff.
Exactly.
Yeah, you just covered that. So the number 1, actually, this shows, what I'm looking at now says there's a tie for number 1, even though one of them made considerably more than the other, which I don't get.
there's not
number
a tie.
2. Okay, I'm just reading it wrong. I'm still on NyQuil, so bite me.
Good for you.
Yeah, good stuff. Yay, bronchitis. All right, Kevin Hart, What Now? At number 2. And actually, just looking at the numbers, Kevin Hart made a whopping $10 million more than the number 3 movie. No, it's not even 10 million. 10,000. Sorry, I can't read. $10,000 more, which that's not much. But number 1 is a movie that sounds extraordinarily boring to me. The Accountant. Now, I know I know Ben Affleck is in it and everything, but I read that earlier and I said, you know what I need to do with this movie is make a trailer for it.
Oh, please
so if you'll bear with me, I threw this together earlier. This is a trailer for The Accountant.
Prepare yourself for the biggest Ben Affleck movie since the last Ben Affleck movie, The Accountant. Watch as Ben Affleck deftly maneuvers numbers in a spreadsheet. The Accountant. Thrill as he peruses tax laws to find the biggest deductible. The Accountant. Be amazed at his ability to use a calculator. The Accountant. Yes, it's Ben Affleck in the time-draining, thrill-free movie spectacular, The Accountant.
That's just the way it seems to me.
I think there might be a little more to the film than that.
I really hope there is, because
I could be wrong.
Wow. Isn't that it sounds so boring.
I hope
I haven't even seen a trailer for it, so I'm being a real trailer.
I've seen the trailer.
Really
looks like it might be
at the moment.
What I would prefer, though, if it was set like in 1957, and he's sitting there with one of the adding machines. They have to pull the arm for the tape to roll up, and he just sits there for 2 hours.
Yeah,
that would freaking rule. Unfortunately, he's an accountant and a hitman at the same time. So, an interesting spin on this, and I've read a little bit about it, and it makes me kind of want to see the film. But I haven't seen any of the Taken films, and I mean, I just whatever. And I understand this is probably supposed to be a little more like Jason Bourne, whatever. But after a while, those get old too. But apparently, his character is autistic, so he's an autistic accountant assassin.
Wow.
I'm curious to see how this plays out, because like my son is autistic, high functioning autistic. Asperger's used to be the designation, and now they've shelved that. Whatever. It's I'm interested
I've got
to
two
see.
like that. I understand.
It's really okay. Well, there you go. It'd be interesting to see how they play, how that character is portrayed. So, and that alone kind of makes me want to see it. Just to see where on the spectrum this character fits and if it's believable. So, for that reason,
kind of better time.
Yeah, there are some bad titles out there. Although my favorite bad title, my favorite bad title ever is The Edge of Tomorrow. Like, really? What is that about? Is that a soap opera?
I'm not particularly fond of Max Steel as a title, but that movie bombed this week.
Yeah, it did.
Because
I
thought they stopped making that toy back in 1986.
Apparently the filmmakers didn't. Probably the property was really cheap. That's my guess. How much would you have to pay for that? Couldn't have been much.
$19.95. And if you act now, we'll throw in Rainbow Bright for free.
Jeez, man alive. There's still some films out there that I want to catch. I want to catch Kubo and the Two Strings. I want to see Hell or High Water. The Beatles, 8 days a week. That's actually on Netflix. Showed up on Netflix first before it came to the theaters. That seems kind of interesting. Of course, if you don't like the Beatles, that would be the one film you would never, ever, ever in your life ever watch. So I can understand that. Have you heard the news on the J.K. Rowling front?
Oh, that's going to be a bit vague. Which news are we referring to?
The film Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them.
I've seen a number of trailers.
There's going to be more than
another Harry Potter movie. There's going to be 5 of them.
Yeah, exactly. Five of them. I don't know if it's all going to be based on that book or if it's going to be based on some of the other properties that she's writing. And to be honest, I haven't read any of the following. Like, I haven't read Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them. I didn't even read the full Harry Potter series because I just kind of got, I got to the point where I didn't really care for the characters, to be honest, which is why I stopped reading. But I think they're extremely well written, and I don't mean for young adult books. They're extremely well written. They're really, really good books. The movies I don't think are that good. I've only seen 2 of them because, for one thing, I thought the special effects were atrocious. They came out around the same time as Lord of the Rings, and it's like, wow, do you guys not understand how special effects are made? I mean, they look like the special effects for the Harry Potter movies were made for 1997 video games. Just
they got better.
Well,
I've got girls who are obsessed with Harry Potter, so I've seen all of them, and it does get progressively better.
Well, good. Well, then maybe I'll watch the movies because that'll take less time than reading the books. But yeah, not knocking Rowling at all. I mean, I think she's a terrific writer, and I hope she's getting like 30% of the gross on these movies. She deserves it. So for that reason, no reason for them not to make money. But it's just odd how this smacks so much of The Hobbit. Let's take this property and let's stretch it as much as we can. I hope that's not the case with this, but I'm afraid that is. I'll be interested to see exactly what these are going to be based on. So if you like the Harry Potter world, you're going to get a whole lot more of it. So time to put on your happy dance. Can you put on my happy dance, or can you just do a happy dance? I'm not sure.
You can put it on if you want to. Provided it fits and is usually 3 sizes too big, that would give you enough room to happily dance better.
Since you've been in a weekend state this week and you had all these time to watch movies, did you ever get alone time so you could watch Luke Cage?
No. I wasn't the only one. I wasn't the only one who had it.
Oh, that's lousy. Are the kids
daughters came home from school and said, "Dad, I brought you a present." Well, what is it, dear? Bronchitis. Oh, thanks. Need it.
The gift that keeps on taking. That's lovely. Wow.
Yeah, really.
Cool.
So, I got to see some Disney stuff, and I would like to point out to our listener that I think our listener actually works at Disney. Because I think Disney actually listened to us. Because when we mentioned the thing about Mulan, the live-action version, which is apparently coming out November 2nd, 2018, whatever, they announced in big letters this week, no, we're not whitewashing the cast. It's going to be an all-Asian cast. So maybe they were listening to us. I did think this was interesting, though. Found out Guy Ritchie is directing it.
I saw that. That is interesting.
I'm sorry. I misspoke. Guy Ritchie is not doing the Mulan one. Guy Ritchie is doing the live-action Aladdin movie.
Correct.
Which
I correct myself.
I noticed some parallels here, because Guy Ritchie was a guy no one had ever heard of until he married the girl Madonna, and got rich and powerful and famous. So Guy Ritchie really is Aladdin. Right?
Yes. That works.
I thought it worked nicely. Other Disney news I heard this week was they're doing and I'm afraid to see this on a movie poster where I live, a Don Quixote movie, because I know around here it's going to, who the hell is Don Quixote? I know that's going to happen.
Yes, probably.
But it's supposed to be based on ye olde original storylines and everything. So
interesting.
We'll see how that works out.
Yeah, that could be anything. That could be an abomination, or it could be, oh, how awesome. And that's when Terry Gilliam had the incredibly long aborted attempt to do it, which never panned out. So it's been 50 years, I think. So
something like that.
Not? Well, since the film, not since the book, smartasses. I know you're laughing out there.
Well, actually, the other thing I saw this week is they're doing, and this doesn't make any sense to me, another prequel to The Wizard of Oz.
Who? Another?
Something called Ramstar Studios, which I'm not sure I've ever heard of. They're doing an adaptation of Donald Abbott's 1991 novelization, How the Wizard Came to Oz, which I thought was the movie Oz the Great and Powerful. But it isn't. It's a whole standalone separate thing, which doesn't make sense to me. Does that make sense to you? I don't get it.
No, it sounds like it's out in Orange County in the Valley, maybe, and they do more films with lots of skin showing. Ramstar. That seems like an odd studio title.
It sounds like a porn studio, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. It does. Probably a presidential candidate. Presidential candidate that we know has probably done some promos for him.
Yeah, there
or
we
maybe
go.
not.
What else did we have this week? I mentioned the Emoji Movie last week.
Yeah, you did.
It just sounds like I found an even. It sounds like an even worse idea now.
No, it doesn't.
Because I've seen a picture from it. And
yes, I have too.
Okay.
Yike.
Tell me if I'm wrong on this, and I'm not doing this to offend anyone at all. But I'm not going to see this movie because first off, I don't think there should ever have been a poop emoji to begin with.
Right.
But the picture I've seen of it, he looks like Frozone from The Incredibles, and that's wrong.
That's very wrong. That is
that's wrong.
Very wrong.
On so many levels. And no.
Where's the mute button? Where's the mute button? Quick. Wow. But you're right.
Don't look at me like I didn't do it.
You didn't do it. You're right.
Blame whoever the hell did that. It doesn't look right on any level. Of course, movie poster of the week, right? I was going through a website, and I think it's that same one that I found last week that linked My Little Pony with Airwolf somehow.
Oh, no.
There was a movie for a 2015 film that I missed entirely called Vacation, starring Christina Applegate. Now, the tagline on this poster read, "What could go wrong?" And the only thing I could think of, well, it's a 2015 movie starring Christina Applegate. There's what went wrong immediately. And we're done. So, anyway. Horrible movie poster of the week. I think I lost Todd somewhere.
Horrible
or maybe
movie
I'm
poster.
just speaking to myself. Horrible
movie poster. I had muted myself because I had to cough, and then I managed to not unmute myself at the appropriate time so that my laugh was not heard. So I will laugh again. Aha! There you go.
Yes, it was horrible. Right up there with the... Oh, geez. What other horrible story should I go with next? Because I've got a couple other horrible ones.
Go ahead. Pick one.
BBC America. See, here's my TV news for the week. BBC America started showing CSI Miami earlier this week.
Yeah.
Which...
Why?
I don't get that. See, I was going to ask you this.
They don't have enough gingers over there?
The whole series.
Yeah. I don't know.
So it doesn't make any sense for BBC. BBC is the British TV channel, folks. There's no Brits in this TV series, so why put it there? I think showing Star Trek: The Next Generation. Actually, no. They started showing the original Star Trek, which has no British people in it, as well. But they're showing Next Generation, which has Picard and Troy, and they're British, and that's fine. But the other thing was CSI Miami, and I thought this was interesting, because I forgot they were going to show it, and I'm channel surfing, and I come across the first show that BBC America showed of CSI Miami, and according to Dish Network, they started with episode 272, which I think is a very odd place to start. I would think you'd start with episode number 1.
You would think.
Yeah.
Maybe it's cheaper that way.
The other thing that threw me off is it said that it started with episode 272, but there's only 233 episodes.
I thought that was kind of high. I didn't know offhand, but that seemed like a lot of episodes.
Yeah, it's high because it's wrong.
That's like Simpson level, which, by the way, 600 episode tonight. Treehouse of Horror.
Really?
Yeah. There you go.
Ooh. I'll be NyQuil by then.
Good. Good for you. BBC America also is coming out. BBC America is also coming out with a new series in, I think it's later this week, Dirk Gently's Holistic Detective Agency, which was
a anywhere book.
Exactly. Those books were awesome. I like those books better than Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. And I really like those. So if this is anywhere close to the level of those books, premieres this Saturday, October 22nd, 9 p.m. Wow. I hope.
See, what I'm wondering,
I hope it's
why
really
didn't
good.
you finish the previous Dirk Gently series?
I don't know.
Or did you even know there was one?
Tea Time for the Dark Tea Time of the Soul.
No. There was a Dirk Gently's Holistic Detective Agency TV series came out.
Oh, really? I didn't
4
know
or 5 years ago. God, I cannot remember who was in it. Give me a minute.
Time to seek it out.
It was actually really good. Let's see. Dirk Gently came out in 2010. Whopping 4 episodes, starring Stephen Mangan as Dirk Gently. You know Dirk. You know him from other things like Postman Pat, the movie. No. He was in
from that.
Bear with the way I phrase this. He was in the movie Rush, which had nothing to do with the band. It was the movie that was with Thor about race car driving.
Yes. A Ramstar film.
And I don't see anything else that was in the States. He's a very British actor. But it was they did a good job of it. And just kind of, got to episode 4 and went, never mind. And it drifted off.
That's sad. Well, hopefully this one won't do the same thing, and I'll have to try and catch that, see if I can find it in one of the streaming sources, of which there are like 10,000 these days. There are a lot. I mean, there's a new one coming called Filmstruck, which is a joint venture between Turner Classic Movies and the Criterion Collection. So if you like old films, classic films, you might want to look into Filmstruck. That's supposed to be premiering next few weeks. Should be pretty cool. I'm going to look into that myself. Filmstruck.com.
Let's see. Did you want the Roseanne Barr news?
Well, not really, but please give it to me.
No, all I could. Just a stupid thing. I saw Roseanne Barr apparently had her knee broken, and the only thing that came to mind was, "Damn you, Tanya Harding." And that's all there is to that. That's our combination TV and sports news.
How did she break her knee? Is there any?
I have no idea. It didn't say.
That's.
It just said she did. She's gonna have surgery. Oh, what a shame.
That's unfortunate.
Hope you get better, Roseanne.
Yeah, I don't really care for Roseanne at all, but that sucks. That sucks that she broke her knee.
I bear no ill will toward anyone, so get better, Roseanne.
Yeah, there are other people who need to have their knees broken, but not Roseanne. So.
No. I wanted to ask you this.
Ask me this.
Ask you that quick thing. Daniel Craig.
Yes.
Had said he would never do another Bond movie after the last one, but he has said now, you know what, fine, okay, I'll do it. But my question to you is,
yes,
should they stop making Bond movies?
No, never.
Okay.
They need to make Bond movies well into the time when they just implant chips in our head and we see them in our brain. The last Bond film, Spectre.
It had a good ending to the whole thing. Yeah.
Yeah, I wasn't on board with Spectre as much as I was with the other films in the Daniel Craig series. I mean, I liked it, but I thought the first Casino Royale was just absolutely amazing. I thought it was terrific, and I actually liked Quantum of Solace, even though it had a bizarre title. I enjoyed that.
You're the only other person I know who's actually said that they liked it, other than me.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty good.
I thought it was fun.
Skyfall, I thought was really, really good. Spectre, to me, just kind of slipped, and probably just because of expectations and the casting, and it's like, to me, it just didn't quite hit the mark. It was good, but it wasn't great. And for me, it needed to be up to the level of Casino Royale, and it didn't get that. So.
To me, I think the main thing I was disappointed with the Bond movies was we just had, less than 10 years ago, although I'm pushing it, the year 2007. And if you drop the 2, it's 007. And what years did they release the Bond movie? 2006, 2008. Did you miss a
Right.
marketing opportunity? You know, it's kind of like you should have re-released the movie 2001 and 2010 in 2001 and 2010. Hello?
That made a
Your
little bit of
marketing
sense.
is right there on everyone's calendar every day, and you missed it. How could you miss that?
Hopefully my kids will freeze my head so when 3007 rolls around, I'll be able to watch the new James Bond film. But they'll miss it. They'll screw it up. It'll be 3008.
Well, resurrected Sean Connery with Roger Moore as the bad guy.
That'd be good. Hopefully Roger Moore gets killed quickly. Stand Roger Moore in that role. I like Roger Moore as the Saint, just the TV show, but never liked him as Bond. Never, ever liked him as Bond.
When I was a kid, I liked him as Bond. But as I got out of, as I became a teenager, not as much. I started liking the Sean Connery films considerably better. Even the Timothy Dalton ones I liked more than Roger Moore. So
to me, the problem with Roger Moore, and I've probably said this a million times, but not on this show, is this is a film. These are a series of films about a government-sponsored assassin. Does anybody in their right mind think Roger Moore is capable of killing anything? Come on.
Well, if his accuracy with a gun is any indication, no.
He's capable of trading off some wisecracks and flirting with women, and that's about it. And he looks good in a suit.
For the Roger Moore series, they got too silly.
Oh my God, they went way over the top with that. Which
too reliant on Q and the gadget
and the quips and the stuff, which is why I was so happy with the direction they went with Daniel Craig. They went all the way back to the beginning. Yes, there's still gadgets and stuff, but not to the extent that there were initially. So much better films.
Right.
Much better. I think
Which
we're
is a good
almost
thing.
done. Almost done.
I think we are too.
I want to mention the
Do
other
we have
shows.
anything left?
No, not really. Just
Okay.
if you haven't seen the series Luther, which is on Netflix, just watch Luther. Idris Elba is amazing.
Very good.
Other shows on the network, the Happy Hour Network. We have Fist Fight Fan Club with Jed Michoud on Mondays. On Tuesdays, we have the Cover 32 Seahawks Show with Kevin Daggett and Lee Val. On Wednesday, we have Late Night Parents with Ted X. On Thursday, NBA Full Court Press with Danny Thompson. I knew I was not going to be able to get through it all in one breath. Saturday, Baseball Beer Barbecue with Ted, myself, and Lee. And we also have podcasts, Earnestly Speaking with AJ Christian. We also have a couple of podcasts that Rob himself does. Would you like to mention those, Rob? Would you like to mention those, Rob?
On Wednesday when I get around to putting it up, because sometimes I forget 2 Pages of Mystery. And if you want to get involved in the 2 Pages of Mystery project, go to the website. Guess what it's called? Ready? 2 Pages of Mystery. The number 2, the rest Pages of Mystery uses letters because I can't spell it with numbers. And on Friday, if you enjoy your news with a slightly liberal take, at least that's what I'm told it is, check out The FWAT Show.
Slightly?
It's got a website, too. That's what it's called. It's called thefwatshow.com.
FWOT.
Yes. FWOT.
And both of those shows are very entertaining. The FWAT Show is somewhat different from 2 Pages of Mystery. It is the Ramstar of podcasting.
There we go.
It is fun, and it is enlightening, and it is slightly liberal. Anyway, I think we are done for the evening. Do you have a final word, sir, for our audience, or do you just want to get the hell out of here?
If you get bronchitis, try NyQuil. It works wonders.
There you go.
Ooh, that's a bingo.
Record better audio anywhere with Motive digital microphones from Shure. Easy-to-use options like the MV88 plug directly into your phone or computer and include a free app. Create studio-quality sound for podcasts, music, and videos. Visit Shure.com to learn more.
Fios is not cable. We're wired differently, which means you can get the fastest internet available with equal upload and download speeds from 50 to 500 megs. So you can upload 200 photos before your favorite song is finished. Click the ad and switch to Fios today to get our best offer ever.